I got my eyes open wide to the ceiling. I'm lying on my back in the center of a room. I've got a voice giving me a funny feeling. It's telling me the world's gonna end real soon. I've gotta get a job, otherwise I'm unappealing. Do my little dance for the man and consume. So I let my energy build for the healing, so I can rain down with my supersonic boom. I'm healed down, but I fall with my way to the top.
And we're back. Welcome to another edition of Crossroads Comedy Project. My name is Josh Sardam.
I'm Miss Shalosh.
And we're coming to you live from Comedy Off Broadway, the premier comedy club in Kentucky. This room has a storied history, and we're so thrilled to be back here again. And I tell you what, Ish, we've had last night was a hell of a night, right?
It absolutely was.
We had the finals for the Funniest Comic East of Mississippi contest at Willie's Locally Known. And congratulations go out to Sean Reynolds for getting that ticket and that paycheck out to America's Got Talent. So we wish Sean Reynolds lots of luck on that. It should be a fantastic. I think they're going to love him. I really do.
I think so too.
He's a fantastic guy. But I tell you what, this show is pretty special. We've got a guy with us here today. This guy, I mean, he's aside from being one of the Bob and Tom All-Stars, this guy's open for like people like Celine, Dionne, and Luther Vandross at the Radio City Music Hall. He is a Star Wars aficionado, an incredibly funny comedian who's been killing it all weekend and going to keep killing it all the way through New Year's tomorrow. Greg Morton.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Fantastic, man. We're so happy you're here with us.
Thanks to be here, Greg.
Yeah, man. It's great.
I mean,
just wish it was a little warmer.
Right? It's a little cold in here.
Yeah, right?
Coming to Comedy Off Broadway and nobody's here, and it's like, they didn't turn the heat on. So.
Stay frosty, people.
That's right.
You've ever come to a show where the empty room?
No, but I have. I think the smallest show I did was Christmas Eve. No, Christmas night, I should say, Christmas evening. And they had a special show at Igby's in Los Angeles, and we had 2 people.
Wow.
So one person got up to go to the bathroom, and we lost half of our crowd.
And you're like, you know what? I'm going to wait till they come back to finish this joke. I'm going to wait. I don't want you to have to sit there explaining it. You'll miss another joke,
That makes it kind of tough doing crowd work at that moment.
Well, you can't. I mean, and everybody was talking to them, and I didn't want to, and I felt bad. It was just too much,
Right.
But some people want to get away from their families.
That's true.
That's actually
they
true.
Actually want to get. I am going to go to the comedy club. Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Was it like a showcase you were on, or like? Were there a lot of
no, just a show. We weren't even on a showcase. Just something provided for people who like to get out. Same with Thanksgiving. It's the same sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
And some clubs do very well with that. You know?
This club used to do really well around the holidays, and for like the last 5 years, it's tapered off around the holidays for some reason.
That is very, very strange. What do you think that is?
I don't know. I think social media is changing a lot of the format. I think this club's been around for 30 years, and I think over time it's just going out and doing things. Almost with millennials, it seems like it's almost like who would do that? And it's they're missing out on some like really fantastic live shows. And,
so you think they're getting a lot of their entertainment content through their phone or other?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem that way.
Devices.
It seems. I mean, look at podcasts. I mean, podcasts have boomed to the point where radio's in trouble now.
Wow.
There's between satellite and podcasts, people would rather listen to that.
Why do you think podcasts are so popular?
Well, the number one thing I think it's because anybody can do them. You don't need to go into a radio station. I think if people have something to say, like Ish and I, we're fellow comics. We have something to say. We're interviewing fantastic comics that are nationally touring. The attraction to us was, hey, we get a front row seat talking with someone who's really experienced and talking, and we're not alone in that.
Certainly, you get a niche audience. An audience that you wouldn't get on radio a lot of times.
Well, and it's also you can take it to go. It's not live. So I have
That's
a ton
true.
of people
You can listen to it anytime you want.
Right.
Yeah, a ton of people tell us, he said, hey, I listen to you guys on the way to work. I listen to you on the way back from work.
Right.
On radio, you're kind of set to a schedule.
Yeah, and if you get up late, you're going to miss your favorite.
Exactly.
But I got to say, there are a lot of the radio stations did that to themselves.
They did.
I agree.
They kept coming down on the talent. And thinking that they weren't important, and they are. They are the connection to the people.
Absolutely.
Right? And then when you lose them or your favorite on-air personality gets fired and they don't even say anything about it. It's just like, oh, well, so what? We can get anybody we want. We don't care. And in the end, they've kind of pushed or driven their own audience away.
Absolutely
it's very true. Yeah. I thought it was really funny. So I came in Thursday, and I was getting ready to clock in here at Comedy Off Broadway, and you were in the box office with Vida, and you were doing a message. I guess you were leaving a message for one of her friends or something.
Yeah.
And how did that come about? Because you were doing one of your voices.
Well, I know this friend. He always comes out to the show, and I thought we'd pull a little prank on him.
Oh, wow.
He's a bit of a shut-in. He likes to stay indoors.
Gotcha.
He doesn't get out very much.
So Greg says, I should have been more belligerent towards him. I should have done my Chris Tucker. And then he went in the hallway. And what you do?
Can you read the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And I'm trying to clock in. And
Well,
I can't.
some lady was on the phone, and she was like, "When's Chris Tucker going to be there?
That's funny.
When's he coming back?" Well, he has a lot of movies right now.
He's a little busy.
Yeah, he's a little busy.
Yeah, That's fantastic. Yeah, so you're a big Star Wars guy. So I got to ask
Huge.
have you seen the latest?
Yes, I saw The Last Jedi.
I'm dying to hear what you thought of it.
Maybe you're gonna find this surprising, but I liked it.
Did you?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay, I want to know what aspects of it that you enjoyed.
Well, first of all, it was not predictable.
Okay.
And all of
I'll
the
give that.
fanboys out there, I mean, for the last 2 years, they had their Snoke theories.
Yep. Mhm.
They had the Rey's parents theories.
Right.
And this movie just went, nah, and they threw it out.
Right.
Which I thought was great.
You thought that was great.
Well, here's what I think.
Okay.
Okay. I liked that this whole film seemed to be directed at the hardcore fans. And say, you know what, all that other stuff, we're going to burn it. And I think you know which scene I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do any. Are we going to do spoilers?
We could do spoilers. Listen, spoiler alert, folks. Skip over this part if you haven't seen Last Jedi yet. But honestly, you should have seen it if you're an actual fan. If you haven't, well, here you are.
Okay. Well, okay. Spoilers. Here we go. So Yoda.
Right.
Yoda shows up when Luke is there, and he's thinking about burning the whole tree down, the Jedi tree.
Jedi temple,
the
yeah.
Jedi temple and
Right.
everything, just burning it down.
Which
to the
was a
ground.
tree.
And then Yoda comes in and yes, burn that shit down to the ground. We must, And he lights everything on fire, and it's kind of true. It's like everything that you knew before, we're gonna scrap that. We're gonna start over. And we're going to have a new canon.
So
that's why we have different canons, right? We have the legends and the
true.
Yeah.
That is true. Did you catch the fact that the Jedi books didn't burn?
Oh, they didn't burn?
They were in the Millennium Falcon at the end. Rey snagged them before she left.
Oh, interesting.
She opened up a drawer, and they were in the drawer.
Interesting.
And Yoda knew that.
Oh, okay.
That's why he burned it down, because he didn't want Luke to know.
But maybe it was maybe it was more of a symbol to Luke to let all of that stuff go.
Yeah.
Let go of the past. But that seems to be a theme in this film, letting go of the past. Don't
Sure.
you? Would
No,
you agree?
I can see
Look
that.
at Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. He urges Rey to let go of the past.
Yeah, even though he won't.
Even though he. But we all fight with that. We all have the same dilemma
Sure.
in our own lives,
No,
right?
absolutely.
Right.
Letting go of the past.
Yeah.
We seem to revisit it time and time again. Well, why does this happen all the time? Why does it happen? Well, because it's forefront in your mind, and you haven't let it go.
Yeah.
And until you can let that go, there's no way that you can possibly progress in your own life.
No, that's.
It's a great message.
It is a good man. No, I like that. I didn't even look at it that way. I like that. Your thoughts on the fact that Princess Leia all of a sudden could survive the vacuum of space?
I thought it was a little cheesy, but but I let it go. I let it go at the same time.
You forgave it.
because I knew that she would also have force powers, and even though we hadn't seen them up until that moment, they're in the books, they're in the other stories. I forgave it. I let it go.
The only part about that, actually, when it happened in the movie and I saw her hand move, I went, "You force having bitch!" I was like, "How dare you just reveal it now?" But I mean, my contention with that is blasters kill Jedis. So the vacuum of space, no problem. Which is highly, highly more dangerous.
Well, guys, they're dropping bombs in space. I mean, you kind of need gravity to have bombs.
You kind of need
That is
oxygen.
true.
Yeah, right? There are certain things that you need.
Right.
And we let that go, too.
That's true. No, that's a great point.
There are a lot of things
So
that we let go
you're finding
in Star
yourself
Wars.
letting things go.
Now,
Sure.
Now, on that capital ship, that Vice Admiral, you knew I was going to bring this up. Why couldn't she have been sucked out of space and Admiral Akbar was the one that did that thing at the end? Because I thought that would have been more meaningful for us because we all know Admiral Akbar. But this chick, she was brand new for the movie and we're all like, who is this lady?
I guess more meaningful to us because we're the hardcore fans. There are a lot of... this film is bringing in new fans.
True.
Right? The same way that the prequels brought in new fans.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of what Disney was trying to achieve there.
Yeah.
Not try to be so predictable.
I mean, as a standalone
I think so,
movie,
too.
As a standalone movie, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just as canon, it was kind of like, Jesus, this ancient, powerful being, this most interesting, character that we've seen. Or all might as well have gotten killed running with a fork in his hand. Because I mean, it was just he's in plain sight of Kylo Ren doing his little hand thing, and he's talking about how I know his every move, and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, where'd my feet go?
However, if you are truly a master, you use your head.
Right.
You don't have to use your skills anymore. The same way basketball players, when they get older, they're more strategic, right? They may not be they may not have the physical game that they once had, but they have the brain game.
Sure.
Remember Jordan?
Oh yeah.
In his final years, he played
The
a
Wizard.
lot smarter than what he did. No, would you
that's
agree?
absolutely
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could see it, but he just got done like force beating the hell out of friggin' Ray. I mean, he had her this way, that way, a little electric ball on her knees. I mean, he was going crazy. You think maybe he was expending so much energy to control her that he couldn't sense anything else? Because that's the only thing I can think of. Because she is obviously very powerful.
No, I think it was a chess move.
You think he's
And
just
it was all in the head. I thought, like, why do I have to meet this person? I can do this by not even being there.
Yeah.
But however, by doing it, he expended all of his energy. And you know what? You have to.
Oh, you're talking about Luke.
I'm talking about Luke. Who are you talking about?
I was talking about Snoke. How he's using all his
Snoke.
energy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Snoke.
Yeah, no, it's fine. All his energy to control Rey in the royal room there.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
And maybe
apologize.
his arrogance, like he didn't see what Kylo was going to do. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought of it as a plot device, that particular scene, because listen, we don't know the whole story yet, do we?
Well, we don't.
There's a third movie. Snoke could obviously come back.
Well, if he's Plagueis,
If he's Plagueis, he could come back.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's another film that's going to tie everything together, and we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
And when we see all of three films together, maybe they'll work together
Maybe it
better
makes more
as a
sense.
group than as as individual
I
films.
sure hope so, because I was disappointed with the movie. I'll be honest with you.
You really
I
were,
was
huh?
disappointed because every interesting plot device they were like, nope, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And the one character who's not alive anymore, they left alive. I mean, we were all expecting Leia to die, and when she went out on the bridge, everybody's like, okay, so that's how she buys it. Nope, she's back. She lives. It's like, really?
Well, I don't know how they're going to figure that out, but I know that she was supposed to be a crucial part of the third film.
Oh, okay.
And now that is gone. So I don't know what they'll do to fix that,
It's
how
gotta
they'll
be
write
CGI.
them.
It's got to be CGI.
They've been saying that no, they're not going to do the CGI
Really?
route. Yeah, with that.
So, I mean, maybe get another actress that looks like her. I mean, they could always go that route.
I mean, it's hard to say right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and it is J.J. Abrams. I think
Right.
he'll be a little more story focused. He has already said that he will be very conscious of bringing, tying up a lot of loose ends.
Right.
I say don't worry. Just let it go and let it be what it is, because that's the way art is. And you
Yeah.
guys know,
Oh, yeah.
being in this business, that you plan the things that you have planned. You show up that night, and things happen.
Right.
And all of that goes out the window. You know, oh no, suddenly my act is gone and I have to do crowd work.
Right.
And I've got to, you know, and the beast is what it is, and I've got to tame that beast.
Yeah.
I've got to do whatever I can, and at the end of the day, the show is what it was. And if the people enjoyed it, well, then who cares?
Sure.
it's
Sure.
You know, you got through it.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is directing and writing. Those are very complicated hats, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They really are. And then, what? In the end, it is what it is. You know, you can obsess over it the way Lucas did,
Right.
and tweak it every couple of years.
Right.
I mean, he felt that the film is never a film is never done. It's never finished. That was his thing, and a lot of fans are going like, "No, what are you doing? That's the thing I love."
Right.
Well, just because you love it doesn't mean that you have ownership of that piece of artwork.
Right.
And I'm sure you've had this before, where people have come up to you and gone like, "Oh no, you used to deliver that joke this way. I liked it better
Yeah.
when you did it this way."
Yeah.
Well, no. This is my art. This
Right.
is my joke, and I determine where it goes.
Yeah.
You don't determine where it goes. But I've had people say that to me.
Really?
Like, oh, I wish you used to do it this way. And I don't even remember that.
Sure.
It's just an evolution.
Yeah, and
To
a lot
me.
of times your material changes organically anyway on stage.
Right?
You just find a better way that feels better and it flows better, and you just start doing it that way. And,
Agreed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a twist of a word. Like I used to say, instead of taupe, I used to say, I said, it was tough growing up taupe, you know, referring to my skin tone. And I used to say that it was tough growing up beige.
Right.
Beige.
Okay.
But I didn't think that beige was had a hard enough sound.
Sure.
Beige sounds bland. It sounds flat.
Yeah, I like
Sounds
taupe.
flat.
But taupe has is a more interesting word. You can color the word better, and the T
Yeah.
sound is harder.
Yeah.
So I switched it from beige to taupe.
Yeah.
And a guy said to me, "I liked when you said beige better. It was funnier to me." And we had an argument about that. And that's ridiculous.
It's
right?
absolutely
That is
Shades
ridiculous.
of brown we're arguing over, right? I mean, isn't that ridiculous?
That's ridiculous.
That's some hardcore fans that remember every word of every bit of your material.
I mean, it's flattering in a way, but it's like another way. It's like, shut up. This is my stuff.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
So that harkens back to our initial discussion, right?
absolutely. So before we get off Star Wars, though,
No, let's keep going on this, Star Wars.
I
love this.
I would love to hear your 2-minute rendition. Don't you have a little rendition
Okay.
you do?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Here we go. Join me, Luke. Join me on the dark side. I'll never join you! Ah! Hello, Master Luke. Master Luke. Red leader to gold leader standing by. Gold leader to red leader standing by. Look out, Porkins. Shut down on the garbage measures at the detention level. 3PO. Shut down on the garbage measures at the detention level. Oh, shut them down. Shut them all down. They're dying all too. Uti waka loco solo. Utu Jabawaka. Yes, go ahead, young Skywalker. Join me and your father on the dark side of the Force. Do or do not. There is no try. Yeah.
That's a standing ovation right there. There you go.
My God, how many voices is that? Like 30? What was that?
I don't even know.
My God,
I've never even counted.
How long did that take you to perfect?
A minute.
a
A
minute.
minute. I believe that.
What happened was I was at a club. I was cleaning up my stuff, and the bartender was a huge fan of Star Wars. So he's playing Star Wars in the background, and I just walked up to the mic and started doing various clips and voices from the movie. He goes, "Oh my God, you need to put that in your act." And I had never even thought about it. before it was just a little part of my show, like I
Right.
do the lightsaber. I think it was an old kind of condom joke or something
Right.
like that. For glow-in-the-dark condoms. I would do that, and I just did it on the spot there, and I tried it. It worked out great, and it became a part of my show. And then another guy, another comedian, Uncle Dirty. He used to work with. He was very good friends with Richard Pryor. I used to work with him a lot of times in New Jersey, and we would work at this club in Atlantic City called the Comedy Stop. And man, he was always good at giving great comedy advice. And he said, this thing, you could do that as your closer, but you should do that as your opener. You should open with that. So that, by doing that, you've got everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You're guaranteed
Definitely.
to grab everyone's attention, and you've got them, and then it makes the rest of the ride easier. Mm-hmm. So that is true, to start with something really, really strong.
Yeah.
And then worry about all the rest of the stuff in between later. Because a comedy act is a lot like a piece of music. You want to have a nice intro, a hook.
Sure.
That hooks people in so that they'll listen to the rest of the song.
Absolutely.
And then, just work it from there.
Yeah. God.
That's phenomenal.
That-
Absolutely phenomenal.
My face hurts. I was fucking laughing so hard.
I know. I was leaning back. I didn't want to start rolling in the mic. That was phenomenal.
It was. Favorite Star Wars movie?
Let me think. Well, obviously the original I really love.
Like A New Hope or?
A New Hope. Jedi, a lot.
Return of the Jedi?
No. I would say.
He's got a shirt on.
Empire Strikes Back. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
That one.
Easily my favorite.
Easily.
Yeah. I love Empire.
And you're going to be surprised, but I really love this new one. I was over the moon. It was so entertaining to me. And now I thought that there was a lot of material in there. I know that originally, what was their first cut? 3 hours? Over 3 hours?
Right.
So maybe a lot of the issues that people have are on the cutting room floor.
Maybe.
That's possible too.
Yeah.
And 2.5 hours, I thought it went fast.
Yeah.
I had no problem with the length, except for that I had to go pee really badly.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was like, tell me what happened. I'll be right back. My back teeth are floating. I got to go.
Well, I think they achieved exactly what they wanted to do, which is you got the fans that love it and fans that don't really love it.
Right.
And you're over here debating over it.
I don't
and that's exactly
understand
the point.
why they did
Maybe
what they
that's it.
did. I guess that's my issue. But maybe the third movie will fix that for me.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I liked Rogue One a lot too.
Did you?
I thought it was great. I thought it was the right tone.
Yeah.
It gave the franchise some weight. And a lot of people did not like it. They felt like it wasn't a Star Wars film. I thought it was the right amount of humor, and it tied in nicely with Episode 4, A New Hope.
Yeah.
It butted right up against that. Now, for me, that's my go-to movie. I want to watch it in order. I'll go 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. Now, Solo, I'm really worried about.
Yeah. What makes you worried about
That's
this
the
one?
one I'm really worried about. Well, anytime you get rid of the director partway through and redo the rest of it, that's a recipe for disaster. Well, look at Justice League.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a mess.
Yeah, it is a
Yes.
mess.
That is a hot mess.
Yes, it is.
It makes me long for the original.
Yeah.
I want to go like, even if it was bad, I don't care.
Right.
The original vision has got to be better than this.
Yeah.
Than what Joss Whedon came up with, because that's just a mashup.
Wasn't that Nick Snyder that ended up doing that movie, Justice League? Wasn't it Nick Snyder,
I don't think it was
the director?
Snyder was originally no.
No.
Whedon came in and fixed it.
Fixed it. Good God.
Do you have a Google that right now?
Yeah, Google that
Google
real
that on
quick.
your phone. It's-
You know what I thought was really? I thought it was tasteless.
What's that?
In the beginning of Justice League, they're panning through. They're going over. They spend 20 minutes.
Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers.
Yeah, don't go see this.
You don't
movie.
even care?
I don't, because you don't. Wait, this movie is not worth paying for. Sorry. But what I thought was tasteless was, they spend 20 minutes going over Superman's dead in the beginning of this movie again, which we already covered that in another movie. But, I mean, they're really going over, and they're panning through the city, showing the lawlessness, and they go past a newsstand, and it said, "Did they just go home?" And it showed a picture of Superman, Prince, and David Bowie.
Yes.
And I thought that was tasteless. Was that not tasteless? I thought it was like, I looked at that, I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. These guys just died.
I felt that it was, they just wanted to make it, bring it into our reality, I guess. Bringing a piece of our reality and marrying it with the art.
But
I didn't. That's the kind of thing that you would see, though. Don't you think so? You'd have that kind of mythology.
I don't know.
Because I feel like that sometimes, too. The way some of our great figures in history, it seems like they're at the peak of their career, and then they're snatched away from us.
Yeah.
Like Martin Luther King, and you almost feel like, well, there must be a reason for this.
Right.
And in your head, you make up a reason for this. That
Sure.
I guess they've done all they can do here on this earth plane, and they're called home for some reason, or maybe that's the end note. That's the thing that's supposed to resonate with the populace here on earth. Well, I guess this is what we're supposed to learn something from this. This is the underscoring of that message.
I got you.
You follow me, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it said that Josh Whedon had taken over for Zack Snyder.
Oh, Zack Snyder. I keep saying Nick for some reason.
Right.
Well, Zack Snyder's, hell of a cinematographer. Hell of a, but like as a movie maker, no.
Yeah, he's great at visuals.
Yes, absolutely. But that movie was just way too long.
Well, I guess when they gave it to him because he did, The Watchmen, which is visually again a stunning film.
Yeah.
It does have some problems, but how do you translate something like that?
Big blue wiener. But it's got some issues. That movie, I found that movie fascinating to a point. Again, a drawn-out movie, but Rorschach's character is just amazing.
But look at the source material. That's a lot of material.
That's true.
How do you fit that into one film?
Yeah, that's totally true.
I think for what it was, like I went out and I read the source material first, and I really loved it. I enjoyed it, and I thought, well, that's the best you can do to do with that amount of material.
Sure,
that's crazy. That maybe it should have been what do I want to say, an episodic piece of material.
Yeah, maybe
like a Game of Thrones.
Sure.
Where you have like
they could have easily done that with all the material that's on Watchmen.
Right?
Easily. Yeah. So
maybe that was the way to go, but at that time, that format was not popular.
Sure. You know what's funny? Like anytime I see a movie I don't particularly care for, I'll find somebody who has the opposite opinion, and I listen to why. And it's funny because sometimes they give me a way to look at it that makes me appreciate the movie way more than I initially did. Like Logan's a good example.
Oh.
I saw this movie the first time, and I'm keep thinking in my head, Old Man Logan, and I said, this isn't Old Man Logan. I don't know what they're doing. Like they're ruining the whole character.
How come? How so?
Old Man Logan did not care about anybody. He was indestructible still. He wasn't this feeble guy that was dying.
Okay.
And I was looking at it completely wrong. And when I looked at it from the point of view of, you have to understand this is the end of them. And, this is a guy that's trying to end with honor the way he lived and trying to protect the last few people that he loves. And when I looked at it from that point of view, it was like, you know what, this is a damn good movie.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, instead of thinking it was going to be an action movie, I had to look at it from, it's a drama.
That's right.
And so, I had to flip the way I looked at it. And once I did that and I watched it again, I was like, wow, this is a really good movie.
I think it is one of the greatest superhero films of our time so far. It is not lightweight whatsoever. It's got great, mature themes.
It does.
And we need that. Otherwise, this whole superhero genre is going to go away, like the Western.
Yeah.
It's being way overdone. Now, I think Marvel seems to have the right idea.
Yeah, I do
because they keep mixing it up. They keep marrying it with other genres.
Right.
You know, like the Thor Ragnarok is like a comedy. Now, don't
It
spoil
is.
that because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I know it's a comedy, and I'm going to go into it. I think I'm going to love it. I'm going to enjoy it.
You're going to love that movie.
First of all, I love Thor. I think he's a great character. This is a great fish out of water story.
Yeah.
It always seems to work, except for Dark World. I didn't appreciate as much. I think that some things work, some things don't.
Agreed.
But the first Thor movie is great.
Yes.
And my wife really enjoys it. She
Yeah.
loves Thor. And I think I'm all for that, bringing on the other half of the gender, onto these.
My wife absolutely loves the actor who plays Thor.
Well, see, there you
makes
go.
sense.
And that's great. If that's her gateway drug
Yeah.
to superhero movies, I'm all on board with that.
She loves going to see all these things with me.
Does she?
I'm lucky in that way.
Yeah, me too.
But
too.
We saw Thor Ragnarok, and you're going to love it. It's a fantastic movie. It is a comedy.
Yeah.
It definitely
Well,
is.
unfortunately, the film was ruined for me.
By who?
We sat in this theater, and people are getting ridiculous now.
Yeah.
This woman comes in late. We're 5 minutes into the film. She's looking for her seats. She gets out her iPhone, turns on the flashlight, and you know how bright that damn thing
Yeah.
is. Shone it right in our eyes. We've got like floaters, in our eyes.
Wow.
We can't see.
Right.
And we're going my wife turns around, thanks a lot for ruining the movie for us. She
Right.
goes, you're welcome. What a bitch.
Right.
Yeah, right?
And if this is the way people are going to be, I'm just going to build my own home theater and
Right.
just watch these things
probably
when
a
they
better
come
idea.
out. Because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a theater right next to us. It's a block away. It's so easy for us to go to the
Sure.
movies. And it's one of the worst movie theaters on the planet. One time I went to a theater. This guy shows up. And it doesn't matter when we go to the movies. It doesn't matter. You try to time it, right? Someone will sit beside you or right behind you or in front of you.
Yeah, right?
They've got their rustling, the plastic wrap on their...
What I don't get is I can walk into an empty theater that will end up only having like 6 other people in it, and 2 of them have to sit right in front of me and my wife, and it's like,
Why?
Why? And like I almost want to like put my feet up like in their face without my shoes on to get them to move. I mean,
I've had that happen.
really?
Now, not right directly behind or beside me, but this guy showed up at the theater. He brings in a bag full of groceries, his own snacks, and they're like like glass bottles full of liquids that he's that fall out partway through the movie. You can hear it rolling through the theater. And he's chewing with his mouth open. He's smacking. He's laughing. He's almost got Tourette's. He's talking to the screen. Partway through the film, he takes his shoes off, and he starts clipping his toenails.
Oh, you gotta be
kidding?
I
kidding
am
me.
not joking you.
Imagine
is
having him
horrible.
in the crowd when you're doing
His foot's up on on the seat, right directly in front of him, and he's clipping his toenails. His wife is so annoyed. She gets up, she goes to the bathroom. When she comes back, she sits on the other side of the theater.
Well, who could
just
blame
to be
her?
away
How
from
old
him.
is this guy?
He's in his I'd say mid 40s to early 50s.
Clueless.
I'd say
Seriously
I'd say
clueless.
early 50s, more like. He's middle aged. Yeah.
Good God, that there are people like that that talk to the movie screen and that they'll come into comedy and they start talking to you. I'm sure you've seen that 100 times. People like that. I mean, I just want to like smack them in the head and throw them outside because it's like
I know.
this isn't a movie.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You should be talking at the movie theater anyway.
Then there are people who bring their kids.
Yeah.
And they're too young to enjoy the experience,
Sure.
or they haven't schooled them properly on how to be a good audience member,
Right.
To be respectful. Now, a kid that's a little underage, they got to go to the bathroom. Okay, I get that.
Sure.
But you don't ruin it for the other people.
Right. You be quiet about it.
Yeah. Even the worst movie that I've seen this year, which was Justice League.
Yeah.
That was ruined for me.
Don't go see that movie.
Yeah, it was the worst movie
But
ever.
no, but if you pay money, you don't want it. You want to at
Right.
least give it a chance.
Right, no, I
I
agree.
thought that film was worse than Batman v Superman.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank
And,
you.
and I thought that was bad.
It was.
In
It
fact,
was.
Batman v Superman was so bad, I went out and I bought a copy on sale because I wanted to like it so badly. And I said, I said to my wife, watch this movie with me. Tell me what you think of it. What's wrong with this movie? And we sat down and we watched it together because she's a big film fan. She
Sure.
likes films too, you know. And we were trying to figure it out, and we're dissecting it, and what is wrong with this film?
Right.
Now, what did you think? What was...
Okay, well, I've got certain things that bother the crap out of me.
Okay.
Wonder Woman is basically Superman, but not from another planet. Okay? Same powers, same abilities, same strength. She's a demigod, for goodness sake. Why couldn't she run the spear in at the end of the movie? It made no sense for Superman to take something that was obviously going to hurt him.
Right.
And I get the whole, well, he's going to be a hero. That's what heroes do. I get that. But, you know, hey, Wonder Woman.
Oh, that's interesting.
Run it in there,
I
will
hadn't
ya?
even thought of that.
That aggravates the crap out of me.
Wow.
The only thing about Superman v. Batman, that I actually liked was Ben Affleck, and that was the one part I thought I wasn't going to like. But he plays a good Frank Miller Batman. You know, he's old, he's beat up, doesn't care anymore. You know, I think he plays that really well. But that was the only part of that movie. It was so scatterbrained, and I mean, the Flash coming in for a second, and then just it was like, what was that? You know, I mean, it was really bizarre how that went. Justice League was just as bad. It just drawn out. Took too long to make a point. You know, and I think what it ended up being is just it loses your attention. You know, they're trying to make a point, and they're taking too damn long. Both those movies, you could cut an hour out of each of them, and it would be a better movie.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't think Justice League could have.
It might not ever have been.
They were trying to make a point, and it wasn't much of a point.
No, one of the biggest points in that movie they were supposed to make in Justice League is that Wonder Woman was going to take the lead, because that's what she did at that point. She was the leader.
Right.
She never did it, and they talked about it for like 2 minutes, and it was like that was supposed to be one of the main plot lines. Is Wonder Woman was supposed to take over, and it just
that's what I was saying. They never made the point.
It, you know.
But here's the problem. Okay, if you strip away the character development and you just go action, 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 then you're complaining about character development.
No, I agree with you, but they weren't doing either.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened in this movie. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think they just went like, listen, we just need action. Just give me more action. These young kids, they need the action, and if you don't have it, they're going to fall asleep. What is this? You're developing the love story. Get rid of that. The origin of Flash. Get rid of that. Get rid of all of that and just have them punching each other.
That's
Why
right.
can't we have more punching and explosions?
That's
we
right.
need more of that.
Absolutely.
The kids are going to love it.
It would be a great movie if they just did that.
Greg,
These are the Warner Brothers
But I
people.
mean, all right, so Aquaman.
The suits.
Aquaman. I love what's his name? Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Is that his? How do you say his last name?
Momoa.
I have no idea. Don't ask me.
Big Hawaiian guy was on Game of Thrones and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic actor.
Oh, my gosh.
Plays that part beautifully. Another guy that is just as powerful as Superman under the water. On land, he's still a pretty badass guy. Wonder Woman, just as powerful as Superman. Having a problem dealing with, of all people, the antagonist in this movie, and it was Steppenwolf in Justice League. Having problems dealing with him, and then Superman comes in, still having a problem with this guy, and just and it's done. I mean, it was like, well, time out. You're neutering two incredibly powerful heroes. Say these two can't handle this guy, but Superman, who is just as powerful as Wonder Woman, comes in and just slaps him around. And then he's out having races with the Flash, and they're joking around. It was like, this is weird. It was so weird.
The problem is that all of these stories need to be rooted in a real dramatic story. It needs at its core.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you can distill it down to, say a Shakespearean traditionally told story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right here. Something that people can relate to. Like, we're not superheroes, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But like a story like Logan, you can relate to that. It's a person getting old and defending his, what did you say again?
The last few loved ones he has.
Yes,
left.
the last few loved ones that he has. Now, see, that's why it rings a bell with you, a core.
Right.
It goes to your core, your
Absolutely.
soul. It resonates with
Well, I
you.
mean, you had two characters. All right, first off, Batman was well developed. Right, we all know Batman's history.
I don't know. I haven't seen him with his pants off. But
And let's
not go crazy on this.
Let's hope we never do. Matt Damon says it's ugly anyway.
You
So-
brought up the blue penis. I just
did.
want to say that.
Well, that's true.
Oh, God.
There was a big blue penis hanging in your damn friggin' face in Watchmen. Every time you turn around, you're like, "Oh Jesus, really? It's in my coffee."
You're
What are
not
you
supposed to look at that.
doing? It was huge.
Eyes to eyes.
It was ridiculous. It took up half the screen.
I took
You
my
must have
wife
seen
to
the
that. She
IMAX.
hated it.
Oh my
Did
god!
she really?
She hated the Watchmen. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Well, my wife hated it. I
think it
love,
ruined it.
because I know the Watchmen's backstory, so I enjoyed it.
Right.
I thought it maybe been too long, but it was. I love the Watchmen.
me too.
So, it was hard for me not to like it.
Yeah.
But
Now, have you watched it recently, though?
yeah, actually, we just watched it about 3 months ago.
Okay. And it still holds up
I
well?
still love it. I
Nice.
still love it.
Nice.
Yeah. But like Aquaman didn't get a backstory. We didn't. All we got was what they put in that movie. He needed his own movie.
Well, apparently there was more. There
Oh,
was more.
oh, it's
that's-
on the cutting room floor.
It is.
Really?
It is, yeah.
It doesn't
I
surprise
know
me.
that.
And the order is all different. It's all changed. Zack Snyder came out and he said that there were supposed to be more scenes with Ben Affleck and the other actor. Jason Momoa, is that his
I
name?
can't say his last name. but
Momoa.
my
Momoa,
guy.
that's how you say
That
it.
sounds right. That sounds right.
And I think that because initially Aquaman resisted Batman's efforts to get him into the Justice League.
Yeah.
And you see more of that rather than just one scene. "Well, I'm out of here, dude."
Right.
And then he swims away. You know, it was
Yeah.
more than that. So
And the whole she puts her he's sitting on the lasso, so that just makes him tell the truth. I mean, there were so many cheesy things that just drove me nuts. And that their end cutscene after the credits is the Flash and Superman are going to race, and it's like,
oh, I didn't
Come
like that
on,
at all.
man.
I didn't like that at all.
I didn't either. I mean, it just
Their feeble attempt to copy Marvel
Yeah.
with their post-credit teasers, I
Right.
just did not like. They don't do it well. This was a rush by the studio to get to the money shot.
yeah.
And they should, we need foreplay. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we do.
We
We
need
do.
to be caressed.
We do, and that's why Marvel's done it right, because they've done backstories on every character,
Yeah.
and then you bring them all together, and then it's just like, oh my god, this is going to be so awesome because we know their stories and we're already intimately involved, and they've weaved them together. Infinity War, I'm so
Oh.
pumped for. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy with the Avengers. Are you kidding me?
Right?
The only thing that would have been great is if somebody could pull their head out of their ass and make a good Fantastic Four movie that is dying to be made well.
It's going to happen.
I got a feeling
I'm not
it's
even
gonna.
worried now because
And an X-Men movie. We need.
they listen. Well, didn't they just buy Fox?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I
Did they?
think so.
Yeah, they just bought Fox.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen. The X-Men, they'll probably have to reboot it, but
Yeah.
I know that Logan is going to show up in the new.
Now, is it going to be the same
Avengers.
actor?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I mean, honestly,
hope so.
Think about this. Exactly. We hope so. Think about this though. How long did it take for us to accept another Superman? Because Christopher Reeves was Superman to us, and before that, it was what, George Reeves, and how much time was in between those? For some reason, characters, once we resonate with a certain actor playing them, we don't accept them. Poor Brandon Roush tried to do Superman, and it was like, we didn't accept that at all. It took years.
But that was a poor story.
Oh, it was. It was a crap
I mean,
story.
I thought he looked great. I thought he had the tone right, and but the story was terrible.
It
like
was.
like Superman is a baby daddy?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I still like the bullet crushing on his eye. That was really cool.
I'll give you another example. The Spider-Man franchise.
Oh, God.
Now look at how many that's been through already.
What was wrong with Tobey Maguire?
I loved that one,
I
and they
liked
failed.
Tobey Maguire,
The new ones
Maguire
failed.
as Spider-Man. I liked him as that.
Well, who's the middle actor? The
I can't remember his name. The guy before Homecoming.
oh my God, man, that just jumped right out of my head.
Was it?
I liked what they did. It was very close. But then again, Sony tried to cram in all of these characters, and you know what they're doing. They're selling toys.
Right.
They're selling figurines.
Yeah.
But too many villain. It's too villain heavy.
Yeah.
Now I like the new one. I loved Homecoming because once again it was like a marriage of two different genres. It's sort of an 80s an '80s film matched with with Spider-Man. It just so worked for me. It was so funny.
I had a problem with the fact that he couldn't generate his own web.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a nerd thing.
That is.
I mean,
a nerd
if you're
thing.
a casual fan, you don't know. It's just Spider-Man. He shoots webs. You're cool with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I just because I read the comic books growing up. So I
Right,
mean, yeah.
right.
But I mean, how long before we're going to accept another Wolverine that's not Hugh Jackman? I mean, I think he is.
That may
He
take
has
a while.
made.
Find the right actor.
I mean, but he has made that character his.
He has.
We all associate him with
It-
that.
it
He
would be a
does
while.
fantastic job.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just think
That will be the toughest one.
I think so.
Everybody else is an expendable.
yeah, because when they did Apocalypse, the girl they got playing as Storm, I accepted her as that. I mean,
Sure.
of course you miss Halle Berry because
Yeah.
you know,
I liked Halle Berry.
Oh,
as Storm.
I like Halle Berry too.
Like you got a chance. What are you talking?
Swordfish. Favorite scene in Swordfish. But it was when she was swinging the golf ball. What are you thinking about? Which one?
Is that your gateway, Josh?
That's my gateway.
Apocalypse was a mess, though.
It was. What a shame.
It is because what a
damn
great
shame.
What a great reboot to a franchise. I mean, I was all on board.
My God, and they didn't have to defeat him that movie. They should have cliffhanged that. They should have done it into a second movie.
Yeah.
They had so much stuff they could pull from. I mean, God, Magneto is such a great character. The guy who was playing him is fantastic. I like how they took the girl from Game of Thrones and made her Jean Grey. I think she did a fantastic job. The kid who's playing Nightcrawler was awesome. I mean, they did so many things right, but they did so many things wrong, so important things.
Yeah.
And it was such a shame. It really was.
Well, we'll get a reboot. That's
Yeah.
the best thing
Yeah.
that'll come out of this, and I think it'll be better.
I mean,
As long as it's in Marvel's hands, I don't care.
yeah, no,
I
I'm-
wish
I'm with you.
Spider-Man was back in Marvel's hands.
Right.
I would love that.
Spider-Man's
Yeah.
dead.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You didn't like Homecoming?
No.
No.
I didn't.
I enjoyed Homecoming.
You know, I was ready for a new Spider-Man anyway, and I thought this kid, they actually got a teenager.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
That's when
Because
I
that
came
is
on
Peter
board.
Peter Parker's a teenager.
And then having the juxtaposition, having the whole father-daughter thing,
Yeah.
and he has to meet the parents
Right.
on prom night. I mean, it's so genius. It's so funny. And the father is the villain.
Right.
That worked so well for me. The way they handled the Vulture.
Yeah.
I thought that was because, some of these villains are ridiculous. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
You
Especially in Spider-Man books.
how do you, right? How
Yeah.
do you make these work in the real world where you go like, oh, this is ridiculous?
Sandman. Sandman.
Exactly. Sandman is exactly who I was thinking of when I said that.
No.
Yeah, that's a little
It was like,
off the
oh
wall.
my God, what are you doing?
You know?
Put that guy
I mean,
back on wings.
it's hard for us as nerds to kind of let go
Yeah.
what we grew up with in the comic books.
That's why
But
I
I
love
look at them as two separate entities,
Yeah.
because the film is a completely different medium
Sure.
than comic books.
No, I mean that makes sense.
So it's you can't. They're two different animals. You can't make that work. If you can make a film work
yeah.
with this kind of source material,
Right.
I think you're really doing something because it's not easy to accomplish.
No, it can't be. That's why I'm like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. I love them both so very much.
Right, me
They're
too.
such fun movies.
Right.
They're story driven. Their character development's really good. I love them, and I love that Infinity War is coming up. My favorite line from the trailer so far is "And get that man a shield." I was like, oh yes, it's so awesome.
And the universe needed that.
It did.
They need comic relief because when it gets so weighted down and so heavy,
Yeah.
sometimes it's a bit much.
That's why I think Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark was brilliant because
Yeah, I agree.
he is a bit of a fox when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
He is. He's really good.
Now, what are your favorite Marvel Universe films? Go.
That's tough.
I already said what mine is.
What was yours?
You
Guardians
know,
of the
you-
Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the standard to what I think they all need to be.
Absolutely.
They got the character development, they got the action, and then they got the humor. And
Right.
you really can't. I mean, what's better than that?
No,
I mean, seriously.
I mean, I love the Avenger movies. I thought they did a really good job with them. Samuel L. Jackson did such an amazing job in that role. I mean, you go back to what the character was versus, in the comic books versus what he's doing. He brings that stoicism to that character so well. And because, I mean, hey, Director Fury was a no-nonsense guy. He was, and it just, for him to take that role and just really capture it the way he did.
He did a great job.
He did a
that.
great job.
Great job.
I love the whole Shield thing. What they did. They crossed it into the TV series, and then they backed it back out and stuff. I love that. I think that was so great because it made you watch the TV show going, oh, that's so cool. I saw it in the movie theater. Sorry, I'm a nerd.
What about the biggest surprise? Films that you went to see that you didn't think you'd like, or
the biggest surprise movie? What do you think? You got one?
I mean, you haven't seen the Thor one yet.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to surprise you, but
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect to like it.
There was a couple things in there where you're going to go, huh? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there was one spot when I went, that can't happen, but I guess it did. Okay.
It surprised me a little bit, but it is. I don't know what else.
I don't know what was
for
it
me.
for you?
For me, biggest surprises. Ant-Man. Didn't expect. Had no expectations. Walked in.
I haven't seen
Wow.
that.
You liked it?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Loved
No,
Doctor
very-
Strange.
Loved Doctor
Loved
Strange.
it. I was so afraid that it was going to suck.
Me
'Cause
too.
He was my favorite back in the 70s when I collected all Doctor Strange.
Wow.
Went into Thor.
Wow.
Those were my two guys. And I went into Doctor Strange like this, just my arms crossed, like, yeah, we'll see if you got this right. It was great. And,
Wow.
what's his name? Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
What's his first name? I keep forgetting his damn first name. Timothy? No.
No.
Patrick. James. Edward. Festus. I don't know what his first name is. I can't
Will
forget
you please Google that?
because that's going to aggravate you like it's aggravating me right now. But God, what a great job he did. And you are absolutely going to. Well, I'm not. I can't say it. I can't.
No, don't. You can't ruin it for
I can't-
me.
no,
I mean,
I
come
can't say-
on,
I
man.
can't
I haven't
say
even
anything.
seen it yet.
Yeah, I know.
I would love to talk about it, though, man.
Yeah, because I wish you had seen that because I want to talk to you about because there's certain things happening, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it
I'm
out.
sorry.
Benedict.
Benedict, that's what it was. I knew it.
How could you forget? How could we forget that?
Benedict. All right. Well, we're running.
Meanwhile, they're screaming. People are listening to the podcast.
Yes,
They're
I know,
screaming.
right?
It's Benedict.
Like, we know.
It's Benedict.
Like the eggs.
Anything coming up that you want to plug? You're here for the rest of the weekend. Where are you going next week?
I've got something coming up. Listen, the best thing to do is to go to my website, gregmorton.com.
There you go.
Or follow me on Twitter and what's the other one?
Instagram.
Benedict Instagram.
Benedict.
At Greg Morton Comic, or you can follow me on Facebook.
Okay.
And I put up everything, like where I'm going to be. I know I'm going to be in Des Moines, Iowa. I think it's the second week of January.
Okay.
And I've got a lot of things coming up, a lot of dates. So I may be coming to a town near you, and it's worth it just to see my Star Wars, right?
I tell you what.
I also do Lord of the Rings too. So.
What do you do?
Oh.
Can we get you to do a little?
I'll do a little. I'll do Gollum.
My precious. Hello.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
My God.
Greg, if you ever direct a movie, I'm definitely watching that. Just so you know.
I've never directed movies, but I have directed cartoons.
Yeah, you
I
used
can
to
see
work
that.
on Scrappy and Scooby, right?
Yeah, I worked on that. I was an animator, and then I graduated from that, and I did some voice work, and I ended up directing some shows like Hammerman with MC Hammer. And,
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Super Mario Brothers. I don't know if you guys
Yes.
are video
Yeah.
game nerds, but
Absolutely.
I worked on that show too, which was a lot of fun.
I bet.
Are you guys still into Are you gamers still or not?
I still play my Xbox, but
Yeah.
I only play with my grandkids now
Yeah.
when they play, and I suck at everything. It's not like when I was young. We had like 3 buttons. Now they've got like shift, turn, you crack your neck. I don't know what it is.
The worst is Madden. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
that
play
is
Madden.
so cruel what they
I
did.
love Madden.
That is like playing the frickin' piano or something. You got to learn how
you
to
got to
play
know
that.
everything.
Yeah.
You really do.
You gotta know everything.
And it's enjoyable. I mean, the game looks fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
But the learning curve on that thing, and I don't even know football. I'm a casual.
You know what's funny? You mentioned football. So you plug in Greg Morton in Facebook, and it shows a picture of you, and it says Greg Morton, football player.
Right.
And I looked at him and I go, he played in 1977 as a defensive lineman? I said,
like, no,
the guy's
that's
smaller.
not him.
I said, he's smaller than me. There's no way. And I scrolling down, I'm going, no, this is him. That's not him. What the hell is this?
So interesting story. This month, no, it was in the summer. I'm in Akron, Ohio, at the Funny Stop, and they said to me, like, one of the brother of the owner, he's a chef at the club, and he owns this great cigar shop. And he says, yeah, Greg Morton, he comes to my cigar shop every weekend. Every Sunday he comes and he smokes cigars. So I went to meet Greg Morton. I got a picture of Greg Morton.
Oh,
so it's
nice.
the two of us.
That's awesome.
And he has the exact same name as I do.
Right.
Gregory Allen Morton, except the only difference is his Allen is spelt with an E, I think,
Not an
instead
A.
of an A, or vice versa. Now I
Gotcha.
can't even remember what mine is, for God's sake. So we're both standing beside each other, and I think my head comes up to his navel.
Right, that makes more sense as far as defensive lineman is concerned.
defensive lineman.
That's great, though. That is awesome. All right, man. Well, I tell you what, it has been an absolute pleasure and honor having you on our show.
Good
We really
podcast,
appreciate it.
guys. That
Yeah.
was fun. And
Yeah.
people who are nerds, they're going to
Oh, they're gonna love
Oh,
this.
they're going to
love
nerd out
it.
on
Yeah.
this. Matter of fact, when I tag it up, I'm going to tag up Marvel and DC just to bring those people in.
Star Wars and everything. Right?
Absolutely.
Everything. Wow, it's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And so if you're in the area this weekend, definitely come out, Comedy at Broadway. It's a fantastic venue to have New Year's Eve at. We really blow it out New Year's Eve. It should be a lot of fun. And we look forward to seeing you guys. And Ish, do you have anything else?
No, that covers it.
All right. Well, for Greg Morton and Ish Shalash, I'm Josh Sardam. You guys have a good night.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
I'm a prisoner inside of my dreams. So I will appreciate the future of a day where the clouds are up and screaming. I said now, ain't gonna spend my time wondering why I never made it, no. Oh, I never made it, I never made it. I ain't gonna spend my days thinking about why I never made it. I never made it, like the pages of a novel at the bottom of a shelf, I grow stiff, yet I keep my pride. Like the one raindrop in the center of a rose, I'm in heaven with the world outside. Like another metaphor to describe my vibe, just a vessel for my conscious needs. So I will appreciate the future of a day where the clouds open up and scream. And I sing now, ain't gonna spend my time wondering why I never made it, no. I never made it, I never made it. I ain't gonna spend my days thinking about why I never made it. I never made it, no. I ain't gonna spend my time wondering why I ain't gonna spend my days thinking about why I ain't gonna spend my life wondering why I never made it. I never made it. Oh, it's times like this I need to lose my inhibitions, raise my fist and forget about decisions, and persist in that party that I'm give and take on the vibe. Soon you will be singing. It's times like this you need to lose your inhibitions, raise your fist and forget about decisions, and persist in that party that I'm give and take on the vibe. Soon you will be singing this. Time like this I need to lose my inhibitions, raise my fist and forget about decisions, and persist in that party that I'm give and take on the vibe. Soon you will be singing this. Time like this I need to lose my inhibitions, raise your fist and forget about decisions, and persist in that party that I'm give and take on the vibe. Now,